Welcome, students, to this explainer on Political Science Chapter 5. I am absolutely thrilled to be hanging out with you today to guide you through a clear, totally exam-oriented breakdown of a pretty fascinating concept, and that is pluralism. Now, if you've ever found yourself watching the news and wondering how societies actually make collective decisions, or, who really holds all the cards behind the scenes, well, you are exactly in the right place. This specific topic is absolutely foundational for understanding how modern political systems actually function in the real world.
So let's kick things off with a massive question. Is a country run only by the government, or do different groups in society also influence government decisions? It's a great question, right? After all, what exactly is pluralism and why is it considered so incredibly crucial in a functioning democracy? I mean, we always hear about politicians, prime ministers, and presidents, but the reality of power, it's far more complex and distributed than just one person sitting at a desk. Today, we're going to break this whole concept down into very simple, easy to understand language, so you can absolutely nail it on your exam.
Okay, here is our roadmap for today. 1. We'll look at the meaning of pluralism. 2. The origins and catalysts. 3. Features and criticisms. 4. We'll walk through a real-world example. And 5. We'll wrap up with a conclusion and a handy memory trick. Let's jump right into Section 1, Meaning of Pluralism.
By definition, pluralism is the ideology where power in society is not solely held by the government, but is divided among various social, economic, religious, and political groups. Okay, so to put that into perspective, I want you to think of power not as a single giant solid block sitting on a king's throne. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a massive pie that is constantly being sliced up and shared across all of society. In a genuinely pluralistic system, no single entity has total unchecked control. Instead, power is decentralized, it's distributed. It is essentially a shared ecosystem of influence where lots of different voices are constantly interacting.
Moving on to Section 2, Origins and Catalysts.
So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding the specific environment that actually allows pluralism to grow in the first place. Because let's be honest, pluralism doesn't just spontaneously happen out of nowhere, right? It requires very specific supporting elements. The development of democracy itself is the bedrock. You literally can't have it without that. Then you add in civil liberties, the basic freedom to speak up, to gather, to organize, and suddenly you've got the perfect soil for it. This combination naturally leads to the rise of interest groups, political parties, social organizations, and, of course, a free media. Think about your own country for a second. You see farmers' unions, student organizations, business chambers, women's rights groups, they're all actively and sometimes loudly pushing for their specific demands. And how do they do it? They use the media and social organizations to influence the government. That entire dynamic right there, that is the very catalyst of pluralism in action.
But seeing all those groups competing brings up a really vital question. Does pluralism actually strengthen democracy, or does it make decision-making difficult? Think about it. Having all these different voices shouting at once sounds incredibly democratic for sure, but it also sounds just a little bit chaotic, doesn't it? To really answer this, we need to take a step back and carefully weigh both sides of the coin.
Which brings us to Section 3, Features and Criticisms.
Let's start with the positives. The main features of pluralism outline a system that absolutely thrives on broad participation. First off, we see the decentralization of power, meaning no one gets to act as an absolute dictator calling all the shots. Then, there is the healthy existence of multiple interest groups, which ensures that a wide variety of different voices and perspectives are actually heard. This naturally creates a highly democratic decision-making process, one that is completely fueled by direct citizen participation and equal opportunity. Basically, when it works perfectly, pluralism ensures that every single sector of society has a seat at the table.
Okay, really quick, before we look at the drawbacks, I want to give you a highly practical tip for your exams. Listen closely to this one. Always write features and criticisms under clearly separated headings in your answer sheet. Seriously, the examiners are specifically looking for clear structure. Showing them that you understand both sides objectively and organizing those thoughts logically is a guaranteed way to boost your score. In political science, structure is quite literally just as important as the facts.
All right, now keeping our objective lens totally focused, let's examine the criticisms, because pluralism isn't flawless, right? One major issue critics point out is the excessive influence of powerful groups. Wealthier, better connected interest groups can very often drown out the smaller ones, and that inevitably leads to inequality and the ignoring of smaller, marginalized groups who just don't have the same resources. Furthermore, with so many different groups constantly arguing their case, you inevitably face massive delays in decision-making. things can grind to a halt. Sometimes the overarching national interest might even be compromised simply because the government is way too busy trying to appease dozens of competing, highly localized factions.
Let's ground this in reality with Section 4, a real-world example.
Imagine for a moment that a city is planning to build a major new flyover to ease up some terrible daily congestion. Immediately, different interest groups spring right into action. Group 1, the local merchants, they step up and demand the flyover be routed near the main market to boast their daily sales. Makes sense for them. But then Group 2, the farmers on the outskirts of town, they start protesting because they desperately want to save their agricultural land from being paved over. Meanwhile, Group 3, the environmentalists, step in demanding the absolute protection of ancient trees that might be cut down for the project. And finally, you have Group 4, the local residents, who honestly just want the flyover built as fast as humanly possible to reduce the endless traffic jams they sit in every day. So look at that. You have 4 distinct groups with completely competing demands, all fighting for their preferred outcome.
So what exactly happens next? Does the project just stall forever?
Well, this is where the government steps in as the ultimate mediator. They listen to all sides, they weigh the economic benefits for the merchants against the environmental impacts on the trees. They carefully consider the agricultural losses for the farmers, and they try their best to synthesize all these competing demands to make a final, unified decision. Perhaps they decide to reroute the flyover just slightly to save the trees and the farmland, even if it means a slight compromise for the market merchants. You see, the government doesn't just dictate what happens, it negotiates. This entire messy, complex process of balancing diverse, competing interests, that is exactly what we mean by pluralism in action.
And finally, Section 5, Conclusion and Memory Trick.
Now, I know when you are sitting right there in the exam hall, sometimes the pressure just gets to you and makes you draw a total blank. If that happens with this topic, just remember a very simple trick, PMC. P stands for pluralism, which reminds you to define what it is and its origins. M stands for main features, which prompts you to list the positive, democratic, and decentralized aspects. And C stands for criticism, reminding you to discuss the delays and the inequalities caused by those powerful groups. PMC. Just write those 3 letters down in the corner of your rough paper as soon as you sit down, and boom, you have the complete structure for a high-scoring essay right there ready to go.
So, we've thoroughly explored how pluralism shapes the very fabric of our political decision-making, showing clearly that power is just a constant, ongoing negotiation between the government and society. But as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to turn the mic over to you. Which political theory chapter do you find the most difficult? Let that question sit with you for a bit and use it to figure out where to guide your next study session. Keep learning, keep analyzing those complex systems, and I will catch you in the next explainer.